We are now a week out from the March primary. The candidates for Sacramento mayor, they are busy making their case to Sacramento voters. So all week we will have the candidates in studio to discuss their campaigns. So we continue our conversation with epidemiologist Dr. Flowjon Kofer. Dr. Kofer, actually no, it's Dr. Flo, as everybody knows her, has long been active in Sacramento politics as a progressive organizer. She is the senior director of policy for the nonprofit Public Health Advocates. Dr. Flo was also the chair of Sacramento's Measure U Community Advisory Committee. That was between 2019 and 2022. So if elected, she would become the first Black woman to serve as mayor of Sacramento. So Dr. Flo joining us now live on set. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much, Nikki. It's a pleasure to be here.
We are a week out. I know you've been busy.
Yes.
Are you ready for election day?
I am. I'm certainly not sleeping through the night anymore.
So I want to start out with the biggest issue that is top of minds among voters across the state. Our polling has shown it. I'm sure you hear it when you were canvassing and you were knocking on doors too. It is homelessness. Voters are tired. They want something done about it. I understand that this has been a crisis that didn't happen overnight. So it's not going to be addressed overnight. So if you become the next mayor of Sacramento, what is a promise you can make to voters? A change, something where they see that their city leaders are tackling this issue?
That is a great question. And yes, you're absolutely right. Every door that we've knocked has named housing and homelessness as their #1 issue. And we've knocked tens of thousands of doors. And so what voters will know from me is that this will actually be a priority. And I know that sounds abstract, but what that means is we're going to set clear goals. One of the ones I've been talking about is that among the 10,000 people who are experiencing homelessness, 1,500 of them are children. And I think as the capital of the 4th largest economy on planet Earth, we can do better than having children sleeping on our streets. And so by the end of my first term, we will have no children sleeping on our streets in Sacramento. And the reason why that's so important is when we set goals, everybody in our community can plug in, whether it's the business community or our nonprofits or our neighborhood associations or people living in the community. They now have a place to plug in and a goal that we're all working toward. And that has been missing in the city of Sacramento. All
right, so since you mentioned that kids, homeless children, that is something that you want to address in your first term, specifically, how would you do that? Is that, appropriating more, figure out more money for shelters? I mean, how specifically would you get that done as mayor?
Well, step one is we're going to implement the efficiency measures that my committee recommended to council 3 years ago that we implement. So because they have $50 million at least per year in savings in them. And so that would free up money in our budget. And Measure U was promised to be spent. And that was the 1-cent sales tax that we passed in 2018. It was promised to be spent on our housing fund, on economic development, and on the arts. And unfortunately, our city lied to voters because that's not how the money was spent. So we are going to spend those dollars on making sure that people have safe ground, where we can find out what needs people have and get them stabilized so we can move people into the available housing that we do have, and then spend the majority of our money on housing. We need to build more housing, and we need to make sure that we have more affordable housing as well, and that has to be a priority. But while we are doing this, we have to turn off the faucet before we start cleaning up the flood, and we have to stabilize people in their homes. There were still 4,500 people on the list waiting for COVID relief for rental assistance when we ran out of COVID relief money. And so that means those people are at high risk for losing their housing. And our rent stabilization ordinance is up is going to expire at the end of this year. Not only do we need to make sure that it doesn't expire, but we need to strengthen it because rents are going up 10% per year, but people's incomes are not in this region, and they are being increasingly priced out of their existing housing.
And affordability is definitely a part of it. The homelessness crisis is such a multifaceted issue, and one solution, as I've talked to leaders and mayors and members of the legislature, city council members all over the state of California, we aren't going to have one fix. But in terms of people seeing, tents on the streets, tents around City Hall. I mean, Sacramento now has more homeless people than San Francisco per capita. When they see something like that, and they also see the mental health and the drug crisis part of it, and they feel like there's no accountability, do you understand why they feel that way?
Of course. I mean, what we're doing right now isn't working for anyone. And so I'm as angry as anybody in this community. It's not working for housed people. It's not working for unhoused people. It's not working for our business community. And so the question I keep asking us is, why do we keep doing what doesn't work? We keep moving people street to street, which is not a permanent solution. It makes one person feel better and another person feel worse. And what I'm proposing are actual actual solutions, taking advantage of every available parcel to make sure we can set up Safe Ground. And Safe Ground is not a camp. Safe Ground is a place where people can be human, where they can have showers, where they can do laundry, where they can charge their cell phones, where they're able to actually receive services so we can keep track of people. As a public health professional, there's nothing worse than coming back and needing to follow up with people because they have major chronic conditions. 60% of our unhoused population have major chronic conditions, and we can't follow up because they're moving around because they're entirely transient. So we are not forming the foundation of what we need, and it means that we're not able to do all of the other things that we need to be able to serve people. And my commitment is that we're not going to keep doing what's failed and what's not working. We're going to have real solutions, and you're going to be able to see, touch, taste, and smell them.
I just want to clarify real quick. So if you were to become mayor, camping would not be something that you would be for, allowing people to camp on the streets of Sacramento?
I am for making sure we have answers so that camping is not what we're left with.
Okay.
And so we have not been able to do that. So I'm not in favor of moving people until we can be a clear example of where you can go.
Okay.
And that is my priority. I don't think we start with the stick. I think we start with a carrot, and we start with handling our responsibility before we start asking people, our most vulnerable population, to be accountable when they have nowhere to go.
Okay, I want to ask you too about this effort going on right now, and obviously public safety is top of mind too. There's an effort. It's a Republican-initiated effort, but some Democratic mayors have jumped on board. Mayor London Breed in San Francisco, Matt Mahan in San Jose, and also Todd Gloria in San Diego. There is an effort right now to gather signatures and put an effort to reform Prop 47 on the ballot right now. You have Democrats, progressive Democrats, joining this effort because they feel like things have gone too far. If you were to become mayor of Sacramento, would you join those Democratic mayors and support something like that?
Well, I am reluctant to say yes or no on that because I have not yet read what exactly they're including. I do know that ballot measures are often not perfect, and so I am certainly open to looking at the places where a ballot measure may have failed, but I am concerned because the premise on which this is all predicated seems to be a lie. And the lie is that something about Prop 47 made it impossible for people to be prosecuted for crimes, and that's simply not true. What Prop 47 did was make it so that Black people and low-income people wouldn't be charged for higher crimes, a felony, when someone who had more money or who was more likely to be white was charged with a misdemeanor. It made sure that we had real equity in how we were prosecuting crimes, and that is important because if people are doing the same crime, they should be charged with the exact same thing. But nothing in Prop 47 says, and now you can't prosecute people for committing crimes. And that seems to be a misunderstanding that people have and a frustration. And my concern is that this is a ploy to be able to spend more money on what doesn't work and harm communities without it actually achieving the outcomes. We need to be able to draw a logic model between what we're doing and the outcomes we're hoping to achieve. And when we can't do that, I don't get behind things.
Okay, so we have you on record like that. About that. Perfect. I want to ask you too, voting is happening right now, and some of the data that we're seeing is voter turnout is low. So I want to give you the opportunity to make a closing argument to the voters of Sacramento who get those mail-in ballots, who have them on their kitchen table or they're in their front seat of the car after they check the mail. Why should they vote for you?
I know sometimes that it can feel very frustrating when, it seems like we're going to have Trump versus Biden, and we did that already, right? It's like watching a reboot. But at the local level, your local electeds really matter, and all politics is local, and I am asking for everyone's vote because I am a progressive candidate, because I am not taking corporate money, because I want to represent the people and the interests of Sacramento. I am not bought and sold, and you can count on me to be able to listen to everyone working in this community, including our small businesses and our unions and people who live in our community who are frustrated and who are hurting. I am the candidate for mayor because I'm willing to stand up for my values and not just, lick my finger and go whichever way the wind blows, and also because I value and respect our community members. I am going to be a champion for our communities, making sure that they're not steamrolled and making sure that they are an active part of the process. And we have not seen that in Sacramento. We have not seen an opportunity for communities to really feel like they are key partners. I know I have felt like I was an obstacle to be navigated and not a partner in the success of our city. We cannot do this without Sacramentans. We need everyone and their lived experience and expertise to be at the table to help us tackle our biggest challenges and also to make this even more of the wonderful city that we love.
Dr. Flo, we appreciate you joining us in studio. We know you've been busy like all the candidates who are running for office right now with a week to go until primary day. You know what? I always say this to a lot of people. It takes guts to get out there and run for office, especially for mayor too, because you're the closest to the people. People know they can go to City Hall, they can call, they can write letters. So Stay safe out there on the campaign trail.
That's what's great about it, that we're so local and you can reach out and touch and have coffee with us.
And look, I hear from people in all sections of this city, all walks of life, all different backgrounds, and they complain about a lot of issues. And I say, did you vote? Did you vote? And sometimes I get, you have to get out there and vote. You have to make your voices heard. Or then when you're complaining, it's like, okay, well, you're kind of part of the problem too. So appreciate, I'm done with my get out and vote.
Good soapbox.
I'm off my rant right now. Dr. Flo, appreciate your time. And we will possibly chat soon after Election Day, and appreciate you being in here.
Thank you so much.